hits one right where he wants it, and next to that special box at mid-wicket, it just goes but 7 or 8 rows back into the crowd. And Salt is making his intention, and his performance is backing it. Very clear, 13 without loss.
Well, that's exactly where Phil Salt wants you to bowl. Back of length, over the top of the stumps, not much pace. Short boundary, relatively short boundary to the leg side. Just hammer it up over, such good timing.
Now, what does Holder do? He's in. Up he comes past the umpire, bowls, and this one's on the offside, cracked away. No chance for Hetmeyer. He timed it so beautifully, did Phil Salt, that he's raced to 15, and England well underway, 17 without loss in the second.
Yeah, and 6-4 off the first 2 balls lays a great platform here for Salt, and where some batters might look to get off strike, they'll think, I've got 10. Salt doesn't have that mindset. He's going to keep going, keep motoring.
Holder goes back to the top of his bowling run. Turns thoughtfully. He's got to try and do something. He knows that early damage if Salt and Buttler get going, anything is possible. Here's Holder in again, bowls, and this one's a good ball. It squares him up, but it gets enough of the bat to beat the 2 men inside the ring, and comes down to square third for yet another boundary. This is looking like a telephone number of the back in the 90s, 644. And England off to an absolute flyer. 21 without loss off just 9 balls.
Well, and as a bowler, you feel like you've done everything right there. Back of a length, bit of shape. It's not the length that Phil Salt can have a thrash at, so he looks to play a defensive push and a thick outside edge. Beats short third and goes for 4. Can have you at the back of your mark thinking, where's my luck?
There's Holder in again, bowls to Salt, looking for the Yorker. Does bowl a good ball, it won't beat mid-off, so a dot ball for Jason Holder. Talk about luck. Holder will be thinking, maybe I used up most of it when I was batting. Not that he had, we can say he had lucky shots. He played some fantastic strokes. He's up to the back of his run now. It's fairly humid. No sign of dew, which is great from a balance in the game perspective. And I think as here's Holder in again now to Salt. He's in, he bowled, and Salt has launched this one over mid-wicket for yet another 6. 6-4-4-0-6. 20 runs already off this over, and 1 ball to come.
Yeah, Salt is savage in this situation. Holder's just looking to find that back of a length. Because of the height and the bounce that Holder gets, it has to be quite full in order to hit that splice of the bat for Phil Salt. So just a touch short. And with that extra bounce, Salt's just able to lift it up over deep mid-wicket. It's not even a really aggressive shot. It just times the ball. Yeah, the 1-dot ball was where he sort of nailed that ball at the base of the stumps almost. And this time cracked away through extra cover. What a terrific display of batting. If you thought you'd seen it all in the morning in the Afghanistan game, seen a bit more of it during the West Indian innings, Phil Salt is putting on a display here. 6-4-4-0-6-4, 24 runs off the over, and England at the end of 2 are 31 without loss. That's just how dangerous this England batting lineup is. Salt is an expert, and he's had a brilliant record in the IPL with Royal Challengers Bangalore and Kolkata Knight Riders. He's won the IPL for the last 2 years, even though he's switched teams. And he really is devastating at this stage of the innings. Just those 2 fielders allowed outside the 30-yard circle. And if you miss on a pitch like this, Phil Salt's going to get you, and he's certainly got Jason Holder there.
Well, 29 of 11. Jos Buttler's been a very happy, no doubt, non-striker, just watching his partner almost, as you use the word, savage.
Peppering the boundary.
Yes, but he's been savage with class and elan. There's been no hacks, there's been no ugly shots at all. There's Hussain now into his second over, bowls to Buttler, and Buttler looking to just push away on the offside, gets a thick inside part of the bat. Bowler Fields running across to his right. And this is where experience comes in, isn't it, Finney? Butler's not going to try and do anything to emulate. If the ball's there, he's going to hit it, but he's more than happy to play his own game. There's Akeal Hussain in again, bowls to Buttler, who goes back, looks to whip it through the onside, doesn't beat a sharp fielder at straightish mid-wicket.
But they'll also be aware that Hussain is the danger bowler here for the West Indies, bowling those left-arm in-drifters with the odd one that might spin away from the two right-handers. So they can afford, with the over that they've just had, to be a little bit more wary and watchful against him.
Hussain past the umpire, up he comes, bowls and reverse sweep, and he's got enough and more on it. How far is it going to go? 2 bounces into the boundary for 4 runs. So Butler's first boundary, and 35 now on the board, and we're still just in the middle of the 3rd over.
It's clever from Butler as well. He's turned his feet round completely. So adept at playing that reverse sweep, and because of the 2 fielders outside the circle, or only 2 fielders outside, you can lift it up and over that backward point fielder, and it's always going to be 4. But the last 2 deliveries, looking to turn it across the line into the onside, he found himself in trouble, so feeling as though the reverse sweep is a much safer option, and proving so.
Hussain, no change in the field, mind you. Here's Hussain in, bowls to Butler, and Butler plays fine, gets something on it. Single accrues to the total. 37 now with that run. And that'll bring Salt on strike. At a stage when you're going the way Phil Salt is, the last thing you want is to keep him away from the strike. And Butler able to get his partner back on.
Although I don't mind him being away from Akil Hussain. To be honest,
you'd much rather have him
facing seam,
face up, yeah. 2 balls in this 3rd over to come. Akil Hussain to bowl to Phil Salt. He's in, he bowls, and Salt, oh, that ball came back at him inside part of the bat, and a bit of a wayward throw, but Butler had overrun at the striker's end. So bit of a question asked that Phil Salt may not have had the ideal answer for, but a run nevertheless. 37 without loss.
I'm glad that I ran out of time to eat my dinner in between innings, Pratt, because my nose is running. It's so spicy.
Is it really?
Yeah. So if you can hear me sniffling on the radio, I apologise. It's just the heat of this curry has got me.
Yeah, try when you do get a chance. I don't know when you will, but a little later, try the yellow dal and the white rice bread. That
safer.
That should much safer. This one's played back along the track. Good over in the context of the game from a West Indies point of view by Hussain. His 2 overs have cost 12, and the West Indies at the England, I beg your pardon, at the end of 3 overs are 37 without loss. Yeah, it looks a bit on the spicy side.
Yeah, there's green chilies in there, definitely.
Couldn't tell you how spicy because I don't eat that. Eat meat, I mean. 37 without loss. Salt is 30, Butler is 6, is 1 extra, and now 160 runs of 102 balls is the equation. Understandably, change of bowling at the far end. After that 20-run over, it was very unlikely that Jason Holder was going to get the ball again.
I don't think he'd have wanted the ball again, to be honest. When you go for 24 and the skipper throws you for another one immediately after in the power play, you're kind of thinking, I'm not sure that's the right option. But Salt will be no less savage here to Romario Shepherd.
Yes, well, Romario Shepherd certainly has had a good outing in the first game.
Our producer's just giving me tissues. It must be obvious.
Shepherd bowls, and he's... where's he gone? Oh, we were all looking out of the stand over square leg. As it turns out, it made no contact with the ball, just dropped right in front of him, and Romario Shepherd walked across and picked it up. So dot balls have been a rarity. From memory, I think about 4 or 5 dot balls out of the 19 bowled so far. And Shepherd at least starts off with a dot ball. Phil Salt will want to correct that very quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 men in the ring on the offside. Shepherd's in, bowls, and down the leg side, called wide as it should be. 133 clicks from the days of the super quick, awesome battery of fast bowlers. The West Indies, at least on this game, don't seem to have in recent times produced that kind of pace in their quick bowling.
Yeah, well, sorry, Joseph could bowl very quick, couldn't he? Or does bowl very quick.
He
doesn't seem to be involved. I'm not sure if he's injured or...
Wonder. I think I might have read something about an injury. Here's Romario Shepherd in again, bowls, and this time Salt moves. This one's gone up in the air, caught at mid-off. So Phil Salt couldn't hold back his urge, but that, as you said, Finney, is the way he plays. You live by the sword, you die by it, they say. He created some space, wanted to go over the offside. The ball got a little big on him, I thought, hitting him in the splice area of the bat and ballooning up for a rather simple catch, just wide of mid-off.
Well, Shepherd's held his nerve there, sprinting down the pitch. But the angle of Shepherd, he missed leg side and it was a wide the previous delivery, but everything's been angled back into Phil Salt, and Salt trying to open up that offside where all the fielders are up inside the ring. The two out with deep mid-wicket and deep backwards square leg can only splice a ball that cuts back and it loops towards mid-off, and Rutherford takes a really simple catch. It's a nice explosive start by Phil Salt, but he'll be disappointed. He's not made the most of that, and he'll be disappointed that he didn't stay in his crease and try and flip that to the leg side, as opposed to hit against the shape of the delivery into the off.
That's the nature of the game, isn't it? When they come off, they look absolutely stunning. Yeah. And it may well have a couple of inches, as we've said all through today, since that first game in the morning that we keep referring to. And if you haven't had a chance to look at it, please go find it wherever you can, including the various outlets on which you can, on the BBC or the ABC. Or wherever else you do. But it was an absolutely remarkable game of cricket, and we've talked about inches, whether it is missing a Yorker, whether it's a no ball, whether it's a wide, whether it hits the bat 2 inches further up or 2 inches further down can make a difference. The West Indies will breathe, at least momentarily, a little bit easier, as Jacob Bethel, fresh off a lovely knock in that victory over Nepal. The left-handed Jacob Bethel settles over his bat and waits for Romario. Slip in place. Here is Shepherd bowls, and this one's a bit of a misfield. Awkward bounce, I should say, as well. But you'd expect at this level these to be stopped. One more run. A bit of a bonus, I'd say. 39 for 1, and Bethel's off the mark as well.
Well, you want your fielder to rugby tackle that one. If you can't stop it with your hands, just smother it with your chest or something. But the fielder opting not to do that. Maybe teeth flashing in front of his eyes and thinking, I don't fancy a trip to the dentist.
It might well have been him. The DJ has gone into full mode here. Not drawing the kind of response you would have expected from the crowd, really. But 3 more balls to come in this over, given that there was a second ball wide. 39 for 1, and Butler now first strike against Shepherd bowls. Inside edge of the bat, goes away towards the square leg mid-wicket region. They'll take 1, but that wasn't a very confident looking stroke. He's looking to play straight back along the track. The ball taking the inside edge and squirting away towards square leg. 6 wickets to Romario Shepherd. Wankhede, of course, right on, well, almost right on top 7, but it's San Shalquick of the USA who is the top wicket taker at this stage in the tournament. 8 wickets to him.
Shepherd a hat-trick in his first game of this tournament as well.
Absolutely.
Wasn't a pretty one, but it was a hat-trick nonetheless.
Well, they all count. Say? Yeah, what do they say? It doesn't matter how they come.
No.
Whether it's wickets or runs, bowlers and batters will take them. Shepherd now round the wicket to the left-handed Bethel. Short third, deep square third, point, cover, mid-off. That's the offside field. Romario Shepherd from the far end, wide of the crease, bowls to Bethel, who defends on the offside. Good looking delivery that, defended. 40 for 1 it remains. Butler's on 7 of 7. Bethel's just come in at the fall of Phil Salt, who played that absolutely rocket of an innings. 31 odd, almost nothing. Massive sixes, couple of lovely boundaries as well, and then perished very much the way he had batted, looking to power one over the offside. And Shepherd is now turning and coming into bowl from the far end into us. He comes, bowls, and Bethel cuts powerfully and beats a diving fielder at cover point to get 4 runs deep on the power point boundary. I think he got a hand to it, just slowing the ball down, but not enough to prevent the boundary. 44 for 1, good looking shot square of the wicket from Jacob Bethel. Very
attractive shot by Bethel. And for all of the bludgeoning and power of Phil Salt, this was just class timing. Wouldn't be out of place in a test match. A rock back, the front foot is up in the air as he times the ball through square cover just in front of square for 4 with a straight bat. Lovely shot and some welcome relief for England. That was an excellent over by Romario Shepherd, even with that boundary on the end, but the boundary just keeps England ticking over.
Yeah, 7 coming off it. And Akhil Hussain to continue. He's going to bowl his third over on the trot. And Butler is the man on strike. Hussain stands square facing the bowler. Batter, I beg your pardon, as he walks in, and then just a couple of steps and tosses this one up, full toss, and not cleanly stopped, but nevertheless I think the single would have accrued anyway. And that'll bring the left-handed Bethel on strike.
Well, Butler will be disappointed he's not put that down marine drive. That's a knee-high full toss that maybe if Butler was 2 or 3 more overs into his innings, it would have almost certainly been 6. So Hussain gets away with one there.
Jacob Bethel, who all heard so much about him, saw him during the Ashes, took a bit of time, but then produced that beautiful innings. Just looks so compact and so elegant. Of course, being a left-hander, he starts with an advantage, I dare
Yes.
say, because all left-handers look stunning. The same shot played by a right-hander, I'm afraid, doesn't even measure up, but he settles now in a comfortable-looking stance as Hussain comes in to bowl to him, bowls, and he leans back, finds the gap, threads the needle. Hetmeyer in chase, but the ball will win, as it does inevitably here at the Wankhede. 9 times out of 10. 4 more runs to England and to Jacob Bethel. 49 for 1, and Bethel's already gone up to 9 with 2 pleasing boundaries. One classy square cut, and this one eased away, placed perfectly between 2 men inside the ring to cover for 4.
He just waits for a split second. He's back in position to play off the back foot rather than cutting it. Decides to play it 20 feet in front of square to make sure he splits the gap.
It's a busy area that where he got it through. Hussain in again, bowls, and once again he leans, and this time he gets a little bit of good fortune. Outside edge, flies away. Brave attempt again by, I think it's Shepherd, yes, Romario Shepherd, chasing the ball down to third, but I think we'll get confirmation that it may not have succeeded. They've run 2, who wait for the umpire, who will be in touch with his colleague upstairs to check. But from this distance, at the far end of the ground, I suspect that will be soon signaled 4. Great effort, though. Big fast bowler running all the way back and throwing himself to try and prevent a boundary. That's the kind of desperation they will need. It will be signaled 4. I think the ball went off his hand onto the cushion. And when he got up, he actually saw the ball away from the rope, so he thought that he may well have done the job, but it isn't. Wait for the signal. We haven't got it yet. This is sometimes a little bit surprising, isn't it, Finney? Maybe that's why we're not umpires.
Well, no, I think we'd make very efficient umpires. Prakash, there we go, signalled 4.
So
You knew straight away.
53 for 1.
You went to gloat there, Prakash.
I wouldn't stretch that too far. Occasionally it happens. Now, change of line of attack for Akhil Hussain. He's going to bowl over the wicket to the left-handed Bethel, who's raced up to 13 of 5 with 3 boundaries to his name. The third one being a little bit fortuitous. Bowls, good ball, defended on the offside, and Hetmeyer fields at cover, about 5 feet inside the 30-yard circle. Akhil Hussain, 2 balls to come off his third over. Current run rate 11.3. Early in the innings, mind you. Here's Hussain now in again to bowl to Bethel. Bowls, and Bethel just helps it round the corner ever so comfortably for 4 runs. Lovely shot, no pressure, no strength deployed, just perfect timing and placement. 4 more, and Bethel's off to an absolute screamer. 2 different ways. We saw Salt really powering the ball away, and Bethel caressing it more often than not. Is up to 17 of 7. England now 57 for 1.
Yeah.
Looking good at the moment.
Yeah, and Hussein's bowling so quick, close to 100 kilometres an hour, so all Bethel has to do is touch that or time it out the middle of the bat. It does bring a change in the field. The mid-wicket that was inside the ring, trying to save 1, has now gone to a backward square leg. There's a short, fine leg, deep mid-wicket and long on. The 4 fielders out on the leg side.
Here's Hussain, last ball of his over, bowls, and Bethel this time works it away exactly where they moved the fielder from. They'll take 1 to the fielder coming off the boundary. That will be the end of the 5th over, and England are 58 for 1. Not much in it at the moment. West Indies had lost 2 at the end of the 5th over, if memory serves. England have lost 1 wicket less, but more importantly, Bethel's on 18 of 8, and Butler a run a ball 8. And words from Stephen Finn, and then to take over commentary will be Henry Moran.
Yeah, this is a good start. Salt will be really disappointed that he's not gone on there, because he looked in great form. Finds in the middle of the bat, maybe just took the wrong option at that time with the shape of Romario Shepherd, but outside of that, Bethel has come in and looked absolutely fluent.
Hello, Finny.
Hello, Henry.
Yeah, it's been a few runs, one way or another, haven't there?
Lots of runs.
Loads of them. Your curry next to me, you know, as it looks hot.
Yes.
It's got a sort of radioactive quality to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Visually.
Well, now it's congealing because it's been sat under an aircon unit for the last half an hour or so.
There is a violence in appearance that is met with the violence in spice. Shamar Joseph into the attack for the first time as Bethel is thrashing that away through the offside. Chase on for the fielder in the deep, does well. And it'll just be the one run. It was going out towards that deep third boundary. The required rate stands at 9.3. England currently going at 11.4. But we are in the power play, of which this is the final over.
Well, it's a chicken curry with bones in, and the only cutlery there is a spoon. So trying to navigate chicken off bone with a spoon whilst avoiding green chilies was...
But maybe that's the idea, is that you have to eat it slowly, and so you're given a spoon so as to avoid doing anything too dramatic. Do you see
That's
what I
one
mean?
theory. Yeah, that's one theory.
A bit like, I suppose, they'll say if you eat rice with sushi with chopsticks, it slows you down. Full delivery, which is whipped into the onside by Butler out towards mid-on. Do you get the logic there?
Yes. I also just asked for a spoon if in that situation.
Because I've always thought of all, in the development process of cutlery and eating rice, how the two sticks came out on top has long baffled me.
I think you're right. I think we have a man who's going to know the answer to that one.
Here comes Carlos Brathwaite. Thank you, Vinny. As we see Shamar Joseph, 2 from the over so far, running into bowl 2. Jacob Bethel. It defends into the onside. There'll be no run there. He's bowled quickly and accurately so far, Joseph, as he walks back to the end of his mark. And Carlos Brathwaite will be with us in just a moment, but he himself is just finishing up something from the buffet downstairs. Carlos has seen a lot of runs today, midway through the 6th over. 60 for 1 is the score. Here comes Shamar Joseph, bowling to the left-handed Jacob Bethel. Oh, it's full toss, and Bethel's missed out there because he's managed to pick up the fielder, Moti, on the boundary. The one man that could possibly have stopped that has managed to do so. And England 61 for 1 with just 3 from the over so far. And 2 balls left of the power play. Ready for action, Carlos?
Almonds down the hatch, ready to go.
Excellent. Excellent news. I thought I did some excellent expert filling there, as you yourself were doing some expert filling, it has to be said. 61 for 1. Joss Butler on strike, England's former captain, who I spoke to at the ground yesterday. He was on good form. He waits and gives himself some room, chases a wide delivery, somehow managed to shovel the ball into the offside. It'll be chased by Hetmeyer, who will field. He goes for the full surname of Hetmeyer on his shirt as opposed to Hetty, which is what he has in franchise cricket. I don't know if you may be required to have your actual name in ICC events.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if Brazil starts playing cricket. What will you put?
Point.
Can you just put Ronaldo, Ronaldinho?
Well, that's a thought. I mean, that's going to require some high-level meetings, I would have thought. In comes Shamar Joseph. Final ball of the power play is slapped through the offside for 4. Butler gets a piece of that. And England conclude the power play at 67 for 1. West Indies seeing the ball go to all parts, it must be said. And this partnership, 29 off 16. England going above and beyond the required rate. And so feeling pretty content with life, I'd imagine. But they'll need to continue this momentum because 197 is a big old target.
Yeah, and I still feel West Indies are 10 or so short. Samuel Badri reckons 20 short. But still, you take hope from knowing that, no pun intended, to get to 197, a lot of things still need to go right. That Jason Holder over going for 24 would have eased a little bit of pressure on the English batters in the power play. But you're 1 wicket away, 2 wickets away maybe, and you build some pressure. The challenge for the West Indies is that they don't have that Adil Rashid type bowler that can chuck the ball to know you'll get a tight over, potentially get a wicket. There's fear struck in the batters when they see them hold the ball. So it needs to be more of the collective. But it's not impossible.
Well, it's a good game of cricket, this. It's a high-scoring one. We've seen some belters today, let me tell you. A double super over we saw between Afghanistan and South Africa, highlights of which are on the BBC Sport website and app for our listeners in the UK. And you've also got the win for Australia against Ireland, a little more comprehensive, that one. And we'll be reacting to it all on the Test Match Special podcast that you can find on BBC Sounds later on today, as we bring you all of the action from the tournament, every ball of every game, and there is more to come as well. We've got tomorrow's offerings. Let me bring you the schedule and make sure you're right across it. Sri Lanka against Oman from Pallekele tomorrow. That's the early game. Italy, Nepal comes from here in Mumbai in the afternoon. And that's 9. So UK time is the early game. When I say that, 5:30 in the morning start. But it was worth it this morning to be up and about for the Afghanistan-South Africa game. Italy, Nepal is 9:30 a.m. UK time. And then it's India back in action in Delhi. Feroz Kotla Stadium, 7 p.m. local time at 1:30 in the afternoon UK time. And that's to look forward to tomorrow. Every ball of every game throughout this World Cup. 55 matches. We're already on match 15. And I would argue we have seen as many close and exciting games in this T20 tournament as we saw in the entirety of the 50-over World Cup here a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah.
That groan tells me
Yeah.
They can be a bit like that, can't they?
It's not it wasn't the best memory. You think back to Pakistan, South Africa, maybe?
Yeah.
Out to the ones that we covered that were really gripping all the way until the end.
There weren't many, were there? It dragged a little. Roston Chase is going to bowl. Very tall, rangy figure. He's in to bowl, really, in this side to England's left-handers. That's what we heard about from Show Hope in the pre-match interview. We've had drinks. That's what the delay was for. And Chase, with the shirt untucked and the long sleeves and the bald head with the light beaming off it, is going to come round the wicket to bowl to Jacob Bethel, who rocks back in the crease and will get at least one out towards the offside. And it is just that single. He moves on to 21 off 12, having scored a half-century in his tournament opener against Nepal. If you want to get in touch, by the way, tms@bbc.co.uk is the way to do so.
Roston Chase is a funny campaigner, you know. He just got this knack of picking up wickets that he has no right picking up, bowling over as he shouldn't, and almost ultra reliable.
Well, 2 cover fielders inside the circle. Butler instead just plays the ball back towards the bowler. Out of the power play now, so 5 outside the circle, a deep backward point, long off. Quite a wide long on in the form of Rothman Powell. We've got a deep mid-wicket and a deep backward square. Then there's 2 short covers, a short third and a short fine leg. Butler goes big into the leg side. Forget where you've got your fielders on the boundary because it's 6. And Jos Buttler deep in the crease. Just rocks back and rolls it away into the leg side.
Yeah, that was pace on and short. The one thing that Adil Rashid did really well was take all the pace off of it and give the pitch some work to do. Feels like Akil Hussain has been a little bit quick on that occasion as well. Roston Chase a little bit too quick for what the pitch desires.
Chase it again. Butler once more goes in the air, but he's going to be caught on the boundary, and he is. Rovman Powell with a catch at long on. And you mentioned that he gets wickets you don't think he deserves. Well, it wasn't a great ball, it wasn't a great shot. And England's former captain goes 21 of 14, 74 for 2. And out to the middle will come the England number 4, Tom Banton, already halfway to the middle. And Butler rehearses the stroke he wishes he's played. And he knew he hadn't got it. And Powell settled himself down below us and took a pretty straightforward catch.
I love the change. I love the change of pace from Roston Chase. Felt as though that one was a little bit slower than the ball before. And the ball before is the one that was pumped for 6. That was a lot closer in speed to the very first ball he bowled to Bethel. And it just feels as though the more pace you take off it at this point in time, the more purchase you'll get from the pitch. But the first thing spinners run to, as soon as they get hit, is the ball a little quicker. So how can you go against what might feel natural to do what the conditions ask you to do?
So Tom Banton comes to the middle. Failure in the last game. But the tall right-hander has an opportunity here. Chase bowls to him, and there'll be a run immediately, tapped into the onside. England 75 for 2, need a further 122 from 79 balls. With 8 wickets in hand, you'd say they're in a good position.
Very good position. You probably prefer to be in their position right now. I just hope that someone records the last 24 months of Tom Banton, and for any young cricketer, say here's the playbook. Keep red ball cricket at the forefront.
Bethel, someone who's had red ball cricket success of late, that 100 in the Ashes at Sydney, gets 1 into the onside. Well, tell me more. What do you mean by that?
But Banton burst onto the scene, and he had all the flicks, all the tricks, a good contract to Brisbane Heat, and you know, it was all the fanfare about it, and he fell off the boil for a little bit. I mean, none of us really knows why that happens, but it happens for different reasons. Then once he fell out of favour on the franchise circuit, he went back to red ball cricket, triple 100, churned out runs. I just feel, even from my personal perspective, when you're playing red ball cricket, you do the right things for a longer period of times, and you don't get caught in the trap of T20 stuff, and you might find yourself down the order on a couple of occasions, and before you know it, you can go through a whole tournament batting 50 balls in total. Whereas if you bat properly, you probably bat down the nets in red ball cricket, and in one game you'll be hoping to bat close to 100, 200 balls. So it just gets you to put volume, and not only volume hitting balls, but doing the right things, getting the right positions, good balance, good shapes, picking length, etc.
Gurukesh Moti into the attack to bowl to Bethel. It's dropped short, hammered into the onside for 1. Bethel to 23 of 14, 77 for 2.
I want to see this Moti versus Bethel matchup, because when he started doing now Moti to the left-handers, is bowling left arm wrist spin, and he spent some time with Tabraiz Shamsi when West Indies were in South Africa just before the World Cup, trying to pick his brain on how he thinks about setting batters up, and it's a difficult task because his main thing is the finger spin.
Moti bowls to Banton. That's a lovely looking shot, but a very good stop. And the covers from Roston Chase, who had to dive to his right to get there, gets a high 5.
But if he could bowl left arm finger spin to right hand batters and leg spin to left hand batters.
Banton doesn't quite time that, but he will get 1 down the ground. Keeps that scoreboard ticking over. The required rate 9.5 and over. England need 119 from 75 as the Mexican wave goes sweeping round below us in a anti-clockwise fashion. It was going clockwise the other night. Who decides?
I think the announcer got a little bored. It's not been a bad game. I mean, 78 for 2 and 7.3, and you got the Mexican wave coming out. Tough crowd.
Well, I know. Chris doesn't like the DJ. It's a low full toss, which Bethel smacks down the ground for 6. The ball slipped out of Moti's hand, and it was then sent sailing away towards the dressing rooms, and Bethel moves to 29. 84 for 2. Chris in Tring says, I wish the DJ would shut up at the T20. Very, very annoying and just not needed. Chris. I don't think... we can try and get that message across. I don't think it'll make much difference. Bethel, deep in the crease, gets a quicker ball and just happy to nudge towards mid-wicket for 1. 85 for 2 with the ball left of the 8th over. England's target, 197.
I know there was a rule, state rule years ago, that the music had to be cut off by 10.
Here?
Yeah, so I don't know if there's a little bit of overcompensation because we only got 26 minutes or so to go.
Round the wicket, Moti with the left arm spin, and it's in the air and it's caught. And Tom Banton has been caught in the offside, and he rehearses the stroke and he looks at the ground, shakes his head and has to go. Banton goes 2 from 4, he can't believe it. He just picked out that fielder at extra cover and has to depart. 85 for 3.
Yeah, soft dismissal. Wonder can he just go up and over? Go over the 2 fielders. The 2 fielders are there because he's so good with the reverse sweep. The pointer's gone back. And it's caused his downfall. I don't think he was trying to go over. He's just trying to get a single to mid-off. But Brandon King taking a step and a half across and a nice clean catch. Should be taken. But a lot can go wrong at that height.
Just came off the outer part of the bat, and it was not a pretty looking shot, that, from Banton, I'm afraid. 2 from 4 is not the return he would have wanted. So 2 failures in the tournament for Tom Banton. England 85 for 3. 8 overs gone, and this game is beautifully poised, you have to say. And West Indies at this point was 64 for 3. So England well ahead of that, but equally, context of match, it's very hard to equate the two, really, because of the pressure and the nuance of T20 cricket doesn't necessarily dictate that one will equal the other. Harry Brook, England's captain, comes to the middle at 85 for 3. Got a 50 in the last game. These two both did, Bethel and Brook.
I think this is a big part of the game. This is a massive passage of play. These next 2 or 3 overs, if West Indies can get 2 wickets, you think they've nudged in front. But if these 2 are there at the end of that period...
Bethel drops the ball towards the offside and then points almost like he's fencing at the non-strikers end to say there's no run. Chase is bowling from down below us. Spin from both ends. Roston Chase, rangy figure, long sleeves. Field switches round, so there's a lot of space at...
You got some sort of message, some sort of message coming from the dressing room, but Romario Shepherd at short third don't seem to be interpreting it correctly.
Chase to Bethel, who's struck high on the pad. There'll be no real enthusiasm for a LBW's shout, despite the ooh from the DJ, who Chris is hoping the 10 o'clock curfew might be coming into force for. Bethel waits for Chase. And is rather startled by one that does turn quite sharply. A bit of turn, bit of bounce. 3 dot balls at the start of the over. The required rate is getting closer and closer to the actual rate after England's rocket start. Bethel has not looked overly ruffled at any point in his international career to date. Shouldn't be feeling it at this stage. And indeed, he just angles the ball into the offside. We'll get a single to get Brook onto strike for the first time. 86 for 3. England need 111 from 68.
And we have another look back at the dismissal of Tom Banton. Was it a little bit premeditated, just trying to usher it to mid-off? Because it felt as though he was close enough to it, he could have probably just smite it back past the bowler or hit it all along the ground with a little bit more verve. It felt like a quite timid shot, and he ended up not quite getting there and getting a little bit of a leading edge.
Well, we see mid-wicket coming into place for Harry Brook, who's going for a little bit of a walk towards square leg, having a look around, seeing 3 fielders on the boundary on the leg side, a couple on the offside. Big gap through the covers if he can drive through there against the spin. He gets a quick ball first up from Chase, working into the onside. He'll get a single, just 2 from the over so far with a ball left of it. The required rate, 9.85. England's actual rate, 9.85.
But again, this delivery from Moti is slow. It gets a little bit of purchase, just slowing it down to show that it hits the outside half of the bat. But again, can you take that pace off? Can you be brave enough to go slow and allow the pitch to help you?
Chase to Bethel. He'll get one and pops up in the air briefly. Chase is interested. So 3 from the over, that's all. And he's done a good job so far. 2 overs, 1 for 12. 9 overs gone in the run chase. It's 88 for 3, and England need 109 from 66 deliveries. If you were a betting man, Carlos, it'd be a tough one to call this.
Yeah, just heard a couple of boys throwing some betting terms around, and it was like, yeah, you lost me there.
Yeah.
It's either win or lose for me, or if a test match a draw, if it's South Africa versus Afghanistan Super Oval. But I'd probably go England win.
From here?
Yeah. The next couple overs will say probably more than the first 9 overs, as said, because you need to get a kilo sign in or a seamer. I don't think you can go Moti, Chase. There's kind of an unwritten rule that you try not to give your spinners 3 back-to-back, or any bowler for that matter.
Moti bowls to Bethel, works down the ground for 1, gets Brook on strike. Carlos, thank you to you. Are you off, or was that you leaving?
Yeah, I was told to leave.
You've got to go, have you?
Henry.
Well,
I don't want to leave you.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder. We'll see you again soon, Carlos. Thank you very much indeed, Carlos Brathwaite. Always a pleasure. England, West Indies in a T20 World Cup in India. Is there a better man for the occasion? Well, maybe Stephen Finn.
I didn't hear what you said.
I said, is there a better person for the occasion than Carlos for a World Cup game?
Well, I wish I had that smooth voice. And the experience of hitting 4 sixes in a World Cup final would be a nice thing to lean in upon.
Yeah, I don't know if bang on about this. Here comes Moti, bowling to Harry Brook, nudged into the onside, 1 taken. What do you make of it then, Finney?
It feels pretty even, doesn't it? I think the fact that England have lengthened their batting lineup is now looking like a good decision, because they need those runs now, just over 10 and over, to get over the line. So having that depth in batting is clearly going to be important. I do really think it's about 50-50 right now.
Bethel waiting for Moti. Oh, bowls him! It was a quicker delivery, and Bethel leans on his bat and looks back at the shattered timbers behind him. Swishes at the air and has to go. England 4 down. Maybe that pendulum swings just a little closer to the West Indies now. 90 for 4. Moti strikes for a second time.
Well, I kind of wish I'd waited 10 seconds to give you my prediction of it being 50-50, and it's a wrist spinner from Moti, who's dropped a few of those in. One came out a full toss. This one pitches and just keeps a little bit low. Scuttles through underneath the bat of Jacob Bethel. And Bethel is crestfallen as he goes off. Such frustration. He'd made such a nice start to his innings as well. Serenely moving to 33. Tied down on the crease there by Moti. And the West Indies get their 4th, which swings it into their favour. That depth is still showing Sam Curran in now. Excellent player. Still got Overton, Dawson, Jacks, Archer. There's loads there.
There is. He says quite a lot rests with Harry Brook now, however.
Well, you need partnership. So you look at what the West Indies did really well. They lost wickets, but then they had 50-run partnership, 50-run partnership. It's important that England don't go down thrashing. Give yourselves a chance. Build the partnership. These 2 guys can catch up very easily.
Curran struggled in the first game, just couldn't get away at all. But he's an experienced player. He knows these conditions very well, and then had a starring role with the ball in the first match. Can he do something similar with the bat? Moti's got 2 for 11. Midway through the 10th over, England need 107 from 63. Here comes Moti to bowl to Curran, who gets delivery well down the leg side, which, well, he a little more in, might have been dispatched to the boundary, but On this occasion, he just paddles it into the onside and gets one. 91 for 4. See a replay again. It's a clever piece of bowling that. Just scuttled on, didn't it? Kept a little low. Glanced the pads. And the wicket falls. Round the wicket. Brooke will time that beautifully into the onside for 1. Turns for a second. No, says Sam Curran. Good decision too. 1 ball left of the over. England have scored just 35 in the last 30 balls, but they've lost 3 wickets in that time. And 105 from 61. Feels challenging, to say the least. Here is the final ball of the first half of the innings, and it's a low full toss, which again, later in his innings, Curran might well have dispatched over the ropes. On this occasion, it's just the 1, 5 from the over, 93 for 4 after 10. And Prakash Wakhanka will take us through the next phase of the innings after some more from you, Stephen Finn.
Yeah, tricky Moti, because he mixes between wrist spin and finger spin. So there are loads of different cues going on there for the batters. And Jacob Bethel going back to a wrist spinner. But it was like an undercutting wrist spinner that just skidded on underneath the bat of Jacob Bethel. Good skillful bowling, and the West Indies, much as England needed to do, need to keep thinking wickets, wickets, tie these batters down, force them to play a false shot. England, on the other hand, need to try and build a partnership and pick their bowlers that they want to take down.
Indeed, they'll have to 93 for 4 at the halfway stage. Because West Indies had a late surge, England will have to do something similar. They're a little bit ahead now at this stage than the West Indies were after 10. Joseph now with the ball in his hand, getting ready to start a fresh over, give you the field. Deep third, man on the deep cover boundary, and then long on, straightish mid-wicket. What have we got? Yes, and a deep square leg. A little bit difficult to spot the fielder. Square leg cracked away through the offside. This will probably, yes, it does beat the fielder. Hetmeyer has no chance. So 4 runs to Sam Curran as he drives through the offside elegantly and places it perfectly.
Shots like that make you think this is still a very good wicket. Scrambled seam delivery from Shamar Joseph, but no movement off the surface, and Curran's able to just throw his hands through the ball and time it through that extra cover region. The fielder at square cover on the boundary had no chance of cutting that off, but when the seamers come on, it's very hard to stop the flow of runs.
Yes, Joseph again in bowls to Curran, who dabs it away nicely in front towards mid-wicket. He'll pick up a single. 98 for 4 now. Hussain has bowled 3, none for 26. Holder in that 1 over win for 24. Romario Shepherd just the 1 over for 7 so far. Joseph's into his second. He's gone for 14 so far. Chase, Roston Chase, that is 2 overs, 1 for 12. And Moti, 2 overs, 2 for 14, having just picked up the wicket of Jacob Bethel in the previous over.
So from that, there's only 5 overs of spin left. So there will be 5 overs of seam in these last 10. Those will be the 5 overs that England will, in particular, will look to target. They still have to score runs off the others, but they'll be targeting 2 monster overs off those 5 overs of seam, I'd have thought.
There's Shamar Joseph in again, this time to Brooke, and off the inside part of the bat, the ball squirts away towards backward square. And before Hetmeyer fields a comfortable single, they walk across. 99 for 4. And as you said, Finney, with the additional depth that the inclusion of Overton has provided, England do have the batting, should the need arise.
Yeah, and Will Jacks to come next as well. You can't forget what he did in the last game.
In many ways responsible for England to get to that total that they were able to defend in the end. Joseph's all set. Gets ready to run into bowl now to the left-handed Sam Curran, who takes a look around the field. He, in his mind's eye, now knows exactly where the fielders are on the boundary. Round the wicket, cracked away on the offside, but not with any timing at all, so it's comfortably fielded at cover by Brandon King. And there is no run. 99 for 4. What's going through Shamar Joseph's mind? He's walking back to the top of his run now from the edge of the 30-yard circle almost. Jersey number 70 emblazoned on his back. He runs away purposefully. Bowls, and this one's flat batted, and he does well, does Joseph, to get a hand and make sure it doesn't pass him. So 2 dot balls. And so quickly a couple of dot balls can mount pressure. This one, I think, the slower one. And this is so crucial, isn't it? We saw this in the morning game again from Wankhede in the regular game, because it almost seems like it was 2 different games in the morning. But mixing up the pace, mixing up the length, not being predictable, and that's the point you made after that first game that England played here, Finney. There's Joseph bowls, and this one's beating him outside the off stump as he looks to dab down to third. Good 3 balls to finish the over, 3 dots to end, 6 off it. And 11 overs bowled now, the run rate an even 9, required run rate just shy of 11. You would think in modern day T20 cricket that's not by itself a challenge. The wicket's playing no tricks, so...
Doesn't seem to be, does it? It's a tricky one to work out without being able to go down there and look at it. But when Curran can hit through the line of the ball, as he did the first delivery of that over, it suggests to me that the ball's coming onto the bat really well. What West Indies have done well here is just that ball that he runs his fingers over and bowls into the surface, stops batters being able to feel as though they could just stand there and swing against one pace.
He bowls, oh, outside edge, will run down to third man. There's a man running after it. He might just drag it in. He does, just a few inches inside the boundary, but that was a genuinely good delivery from Moti. It spun, took the outside edge of Harry Brooks's bat, and in a conventional sort of game, that was straight into Slip's pocket. But here in the T20 format, of course, at this stage in the innings, there isn't one, and 2 runs to the total. 100 comes up for England, 101 for 4 in the 12th over. Moti again bowls, and this one's firmly driven up towards the long off area. I think, Finney, what you're thinking is exactly what the England captain's thinking. After this over, there's a maximum of 4 overs of spin left. Let's watch those a little carefully and then go big against the pace.
And the sensible thing for a right-hander to do here is allow the left-hander to do the whacking against the left-arm bowler.
Moti in again, bowls to Curran, who flicks it away to deep mid-wicket. This might have been the one that was again bowled quicker and flatter by Moti.
Yeah, wrist spinner. So the way he does it is kind of what Liam Livingstone does when he bowls. But we'll bowl wrist spin to the batter to get it to move away from the left-handers, and then finger spin to the right-handers in order to get it to move away from them.
Great skill to have. Moti bowled this one. He drops shot, gets away with it, even though it's been hit into the gap. It might just get 4 for it. It does. It looked like Harry Brook hadn't timed it as well as he would have liked to, but the placement was so good that the fielder down on the ground there. Looks like Rutherford, yes. Hope he's not hurt himself. He's clutching his right wrist, is Rutherford. 4 runs have accrued to England. And Brook playing it deliberately down, never intended to hit it in the air. And as Rutherford dives, yeah, I think the ball just about hitting him, maybe on the little bone on the wrist. Is he going off? As he looks like that. Physio is out quickly, and Rutherford's walking with him over the rope now at this stage. Yes, he has left the field, so the West Indies will get on a substitute fielder.
Yeah, it looks as though maybe his arm, when he slid, sometimes there are tent pegs in the ground to keep the advertising there. His arm may, as he slid, just have run over one of those tent pegs.
It can be quite painful.
Oh, it sounds horrible.
Moti in. This one's short, pulled away firmly. First bounce to the man. That is Joseph, Shamar Joseph. He feels there'll be a single comfortably taken. The England total now 108 for 4, with 1 ball of the 12th to come. Right-left combination, always a pain for bowlers to adjust, fielders having to move around. Just creates that little bit more uncertainty and having to make sure that every time you're getting to the spot where your captain wants you to be, if you're a fielder in the deep particularly. Moti in, bowls to Curran. Curran has managed to hit it in a way which I don't think was deliberate, didn't time it very well. And as a result, he got 2 runs because the ball didn't travel, and Hetmyer had to come all the way from the boundary to pick it up near the 30-yard circle. 12 gone, 110 now for 4, requiring 87 runs to win off 48 balls.
Well, there's their 11 runs off that over, and that's one of their spin overs as well. So good news for England. As these two spend more time at the crease, they'll get used to the pace of it, get used to the cues from the bowlers as well. West Indies here, I'd imagine, will be pure spin now until those last 4 overs of the innings, when we'll get the seam back again. This is their opportunity now to squeeze, try and make Brook or Curran play a full shot. Brook is the key, though, it feels. If Brook's there at the end, England win. If they manage to prize him out now, puts a lot of pressure on the others.
10.88 if you're statistically minded. Roston Chase to start his 3rd over. He's bowled 2, 1 for 12. He's got 2 men in the deep on the offside, 3 deep on the on. Bowls to Brook. Brook turns it away nicely, and it's a good bit of fielding. Looked a bit awkward, but he managed to get down the big man there. And Romario Shepherd on that 30-yard circle at shot fine prevents more than a single. Nelson on the board, 1-1-1 for 4 now. And Roston Chase to the left-handed Curran. The 2 points now, 2 men behind square on the offside. Inside the ring, Roston Chase is in, bowls, tosses this one up. Curran drives up the ground, he'll pick up a run. Holder off the boundary does the fielding. Very sensible. This also displays the confidence that England have, that they don't need to go big, don't need to take any chances. They know their opportunity is going to come, and they are playing for that. 112 for 4. West Indies got 196 for 6 of their 20 overs. And that set England a total of 197 to win. They're 112, so 85 shy of the required runs. Chase bowls wide outside the off stump, but signalled as such, fired it in. Thought Brook was going to give him the charge, I think.
Well, Brook stepped just outside leg to try. When the pace is on the ball, Brook will feel as though there's not that much turn, so he can hit it up over extra cover. So Brook giving himself a little bit of room. I just wonder if Roston Chase might let the pace off this one a little bit.
Here he is now, and he does exactly that. Cracked away on the offside, not with enough time to place it where he might have liked it. Toe end of the bat from the England captain. No run. 113 for 4. Required run rate now 11.2. Won't face them too much at this stage, one would think. Here's Roston Chase again. Goes in, bowls, fires this one at the pad. He's tickled it round the corner. This should be 4. I don't think Romario Shepherd... Oh, he does get there. He's struggling, but he manages to get there, and that's wide. Didn't touch anything. I thought might have got just a little bit of pad on its way, but that means there's an extra ball as well.
See, that's
a bit harsh, isn't it?
I don't think that should be a wide, yeah.
Batter moving away to the leg, bowler following him. Just
he steps inside it, doesn't he? So
he does.
Yeah.
Well,
harsh.
Chase again in bowls. Once again, it moves across a little bit and cracked away on the offside in front of square. Almost overran it, did Shamar Joseph. Manages to get hold of it in the end. Limits it to 2. Yeah, one day, with all the technology that's coming into the game, I think these might get adjudicated by technology as well. But the umpire is the best placed. From wherever on the ground you look, you can never get an exact view the way the umpire does. He chose on this occasion and decided that it was wide, and 2 wides plus the 1 for the wide. So 3 runs accruing to England on that occasion. 118 for 4. Chase bowls, once again tucked away. And a laborious passage down to earth, literally, for Romario Shepherd. Big smile on his face. Yes, but he's doing the job. That's the important thing. He's chased down a couple. And now Skipper Shai Hope runs from behind the wicket to his bowler, having a word with him, discussing where he might want to bowl the last ball of the 13th over. This one's gone for 9 again, so very much on track, the Windies. Sorry, the England batters, I beg your pardon.
See, I'd be tempted if I was Chase here, given the situation. England's still quite some way off. You'd throw up a slow one for Curran to try and slog.
He's in, he bowls. Doesn't toss it up, but Curran flags it nicely through the straightish mid-wicket region and gets 4 runs. This is 13 of the over. So the last 2 spin overs have gone for 24, Finney. And that just makes the task a little bit easier, doesn't it? With 7 overs to come, England needs 74 to win.
Yeah, and it also shows you don't need to take big risks to score at 12 and over in this situation. England, in those 2 overs, I can't think of one reckless shot that they've played. They've not looked like getting out. It's just accumulation, and then if there's a bad ball there, wallop it away to the fence, and that puts the pressure on the bowlers. And the scoreboard's not getting away from England at all here. The rates come down, 10.5 and over needed now for the next 7 overs.
Romario Shepherd's got 3 overs left, but the way he's moving around on the field, I wonder if he's going to be able to actually bowl too much.
I think that might just be how he moves.
You think so?
Yeah, you just get a little bit stiff, stood there, even in Mumbai.
In Mumbai, you worried more about cramp and losing.
That's true. Well, you'd be disappointed if you cramped in a T20 game.
Moti continues, worked away on the onside by Harry Brook for a single. This will be Moti's last. He's picked up 2 important wickets as the diminutive man. His full name, from what I was reading, actually suggested or said that his full name is Gudakesh Moti-Kanhai. Wonder if that had anything to do with him or his parents being influenced by the great Rohan Kanhai. In comes Moti, bowls over the wicket, eased on the offside by Curran. There won't be a run on this occasion. Joseph's up inside the circle, prevents a run. Big smile on his face. Game being played by and large, all the games in this tournament so far played in very good spirit. I mean, some very close ones. Here's shot and pulled in the air and well clear of Hetmeyer, who can only watch it sail over his head into the stands for 6. So Sam Curran once again showing why he's so valuable. And there's something about Indian conditions in Sam Curran. He just absolutely revels in these conditions, and he's now up to 21 of 13. And that was a very, very good shot. Dragged it back, short of a length, and comfortably put away. 130 for 4. Moti bowls, tossed up, slapped away firmly, but straight to the man at sweeper cover for a single. Already now 8 runs of this over, 4 balls bowled. So England doing this almost exactly the way it's required mathematically. 10 or 11 runs and over required, and they're getting those at the moment comfortably. Now to the right-handed Brook. What's Moti going to do? He's got 2 balls left of his spell to make an impact. Bowls, and he's tossed it back in the air. Has he taken him? He's caught and bowled. The England captain, just a bit tentative, slightly slower, I think, through the air, gripped a little probably, and the full face of the bat, and a nice diving catch from Gudakesh Moti. Picks up his 3rd wicket, and the England captain walking back 131 for 5 with 1 of the 14th over to come.
Looks like an excellent piece of bowling by Moti. It was just held back and perfect seam position with a few rotations and revolutions on it, and it just holds in the pitch just slightly with that lack of pace. And Brook, looking to just defend it, push it down the ground for a single, is through the shot just slightly too early and offers up a simple chance to Moti, who takes the catch diving to his left, but it was looping, so there was no real pace on it. And as that hung in the air, everyone watched, and feels like such a critical moment in the game. Harry Brook, such an important player in run chases like this for England. And it looked as though him and Sam Curran were just serenely making their way at the run rate towards the target. A wicket always changes things. England will have to rebuild.
Yes, and drinks on the field, and you can see Darren Sammy out there with his boys in maroon, egging them on, pats on the back, conversations happening. Are we headed to another close finish? 131 for 5,
Super over?
10.7.
Kind of a third super over.
I don't know if
we?
you can hold. I can handle a third super over in the day. Will Jacks is out there now as Karan's getting a well-earned drink. Looks pretty humid out there, while we seem to be subjected to rather cold air conditioning
Well,
here.
you've buttoned your jacket all the way up to the top.
Well, it is cold. I mean, and you don't expect that at this time of the year in Mumbai.
No, although I bought my hoodie because I anticipated.
That's why champion athletes can anticipate better, I think, than most others. The rope is out, but I think that was more to put a tick in the box. I don't see any real dew out there. And that's been one good thing so far. There hasn't been any dew that has impacted the game, and you really don't want that to happen. Remember, there are local time-wise, there are morning starts, an afternoon start at 3, and it's really the evening game, the 7 o'clock start, which has the potential. We'll see what... we haven't heard anything in Kolkata either, which might have been another place where dew could play a role. The ground staff are off, as indeed are the drinks, and we are set to resume with Will Jacks having come in to replace his captain. One delivery of Moti's spell remains, and he's going to bowl to Jacks with a slip in place. That's a good move, one thinks, by Shai Hope, the captain, just bringing Chase into slip. There's two men on the offside saving the single inside the ring, shot extra and shot backward point, and a shot fine where Romario Shepherd has been positioned all through this innings except when he's bowled. Slight hold up in play. I'm wondering why. Or maybe the television stuff has to finish. That could be the only explanation, because everything looks ready. Jacks is ready, Moti is ready, the fielders are ready, the crowd is ready. The umpire is still waiting to hear whatever it is that he needs to. I think he's now got the clearance, and Moti will bowl the last ball of his spell to the new man, Will Jacks, who is on strike. Moti is in, bowls to Jacks, and he goes back and defends on the offside, wants a run. Karan's not interested. And that will be the end of a very, very good spell by Gudakesh Moti. 4 overs, 3 for 33. Very, very important in the context of the game. 131 for 5, 14 gone, and the asking rate now an even 11. But with more pace than spin to come, just looking at it, Hussein's got just 1 over left. Moti's bowled out. Chase has 1 over left, so a maximum of 2 probably, if you consider Hussain to be spin. And then the other 4 overs will still have to be seen.
Yeah, excellent from Moti, wasn't it?
Brilliant.
3 for 33, and all of the middle order as well. Bethel, Banton, and the really, really important one of Harry Brook, caught and bowled there.
Fascination for the alphabet B. Banton, Bethel and Brook. Here's Chase, starts a fresh over, bowls to Karan. Karan goes back, and there's a big appeal from the West Indies. Karan's got his bat up, but I think he's using it to sort of officially tell his partner not to run. Just telling the umpire as well. The umpire anyway hasn't ruled in favor of the fielding side. They've gone up. Shai Hope has asked for the review. He went back trying to make some room to cut the ball on the offside, and the umpire ruled that it was not LBW. The West Indies think there is a cause to get the review.
Yeah, I think they think it's just flicked Curran's pad, so the angle's back in from round the wicket by Roston Chase, and they think that there are 2 noises. I'd certainly say that there isn't.
He's probably chopped it on from his bat, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's chopped it off the inside edge onto his pad, quite aggressively actually.
You're on screen, you can signal now, thanks.
So it's actually gone exactly the opposite to what the Windies thought it was. Pad first is what they thought.
Yeah, sometimes there's the tiniest flick of pad, but his pad was actually nowhere near it. So,
in fact, his pad saved him in a way. You could almost say that he might have chopped it on. No damage done except for the review lost. Chase bowls. This one's clipped away nicely, timed well as well. It races across the outfield, just a single though. Joseph's really doing well in that region, towards our left and on the boundary. Keeps it down to a single. Shai Hope moving his fielders around, wants them exactly where he wants them. Will Jacks surveys the onside field. England will want something similar, if not better, than what he did for them in that first game. 4 balls of the 15th to come from Roston Chase. Bowls and Jacks drives beautifully. Beats a diving fielder at short extra. He'll pick up 1 and they will go back for the second. This is good running. Very good running indeed. Curran was coming back to the danger end and he turned very quickly in a flash and he was back. Game awareness. 134 for 5. Will Jacks once again just taking his time. This is also very, very good, I think, by Will Jacks. Just slowing the game down. Play it at my pace. I'm the batter. Game can't proceed till I'm ready. He's now settled over his bat. Waits. Round the wicket. Tall, lanky figure of Roston Chase. Bowls. Strikes him on the pad. There's a big appeal. And he's been given out LBW. The throw from short third almost took the umpire out. Just managed to get his leg out of the way, and the batter has referred upstairs. He doesn't think this was a quicker ball from Roston Chase. The umpire had to think about it and then slowly raised his finger. This could be very, very important.
Yeah, it feels that way. He's been done by the pace here, Will Jacks.
I'm looking at split screen now. If we could roll that through, thanks.
The question is, has this pitched in line? And if it has pitched in line, has it spun back to be hitting the stumps?
Passing close to the inside edge of the bat. I'm going to need ultra edge next, please, if I could.
The on-field decision, remember, is out.
Ultra edge coming up now. Roll that through. Roll that through. Flat line. Just take that back for me one more time, so thanks. Briefly. So roll it through from there. So got a flat line as the ball passes the back. There is no bat involved. Ball tracking next when ready, thanks.
This is the moment. Ball tracking coming up.
Original decision was out. Ball tracking coming up. It's pitching in line. Impact in line. Wickets is pitching.
Fairly straightforward in the end. Middle of middle. And that's a very important wicket. Another very good call by the umpire. Very good decision. And Will Jacks departs. So 134 for 6 now. England have lost their review. And the asking rate is now nudging 12, 11.8. Sam Curran was the hero with the ball. He's battling it out there on 23 of 16 now. And this was fired in, wasn't it, by Roston Chase. Clearly the quicker ball. Yes, 88, 90, and then 112 Ks.
It didn't look as though it was an off spinner to me. It looked like it was almost seam up, but then it has just cut back slightly to pitch on middle and then come back and hit Will Jacks in front of middle. Good bowling by Chase, an off spinner at this stage of the game when a right-hander might be looking to target him, mixing up his pace and his lines skillfully.
Jamie Overton is the new man in at number 8. He looks around the field as the fielders settle into their places. Short third. Sweeper cover, extra cover, long off, long on, deep mid-wicket. A man deep back with a square, and then the customary short mid-wicket and a man at short fine. Chase in, bowls to Overton. Quicker ball again, defended nicely by Jamie Overton. And there is no run. 134 for 6. And now with the number of overs remaining dropping, the rate changes very quickly. Yeah, but it really doesn't matter in the sense that they still need to get those 63 runs of 31 balls. Fielder moved from straightish mid-wicket now into extra cover, and the strengthening of the square on the offside field. A single to Overton as he clips this one off his toes for Hetmeyer coming off the boundary to field. As the end of the 15th over, and with 30 balls remaining, England needs 62 to win. 135 for 6 it is. And a word from Stephen Finn. And for the last phase of the game, it will be over to Henry Moran.
Well done West Indies so far. In these last 2 or 3 overs, they've really dragged it back into their favour. The intent to take wickets, the intelligence to mix their pace on this surface, not allow the England batters to just stand there and hit through one pace, whether that's seam or spin. The same mantra rings true on a surface such as this, and the West Indies now looking to turn the screw I think they're going to be bowling their spinners out here to try and stay in control of the situation, make the rate really difficult for the England batters to chase in those last few overs when the seamers come back on, when it might be easy to score runs, but they'll need lots of them by the time those seamers come back in.
Yeah, without those players that you'd necessarily back to do the bulk of the run scoring. Have England played badly at times today? Have they? I'm trying to sort of work out where we are with it. Well, once we see the next 30 balls, we'll be able to have that assessment. Overton waits for Hussain and will punch off the back foot. Powerful man. He'll get one out to deep cover. The requirement 61 off 29. And do you know what I mean? I'm not quite sure where I am with it.
No, I'd have to agree with you. I think a couple of the big overs that England, when they were bowling, you have to find a way to get out of those overs without them being monster overs. Is one thing that you would think that might be a 10-run swing in that first innings. But I think the West Indies have just been really good.
Yeah.
They've recognised the conditions. Their spinners have been excellent, especially in this passage of the game now.
136 for 6. Hussain in his final over is walking in towards us. Left arm spin around the wicket, and Curran thrashes the ball out to deep cover, but there's a man on the boundary. And there won't be more than just a single. England require 60 from 28. It's worth pointing out that games against Scotland and Italy to come, it's all very much in England's hands. There's not, concerns necessarily about qualification, but Scotland are a dangerous side, nothing to lose given the nature of their path to qualification. Akil Hussain walking in once more. Overton whips the ball into the onside without much timing. He'll only get one, turns and gets that second. In fact, he's powerful plays, much sought after in franchise cricket, Jamie Overton, because he can, from the off, hit a long ball.
Yeah, good fielder. Can bowl wicket taker through those middle overs, can't he be? I think now how England would love him to score 30 off 18 balls.
Well, that would be advantageous. 58 needed from 27. He's rather cramped for room there by Hussain. One taken down the ground. England not panicking at the moment, clearly.
No, this is the one over, isn't it? You can afford to have an over of 8 here. 7, 8, 9, something like that. It doesn't have to be a monster. You've got the seamers to come back. That's where they'll back themselves.
Akil Hussain. At the far end of the ground, bowling to Sam Curran, who, on strike, waits with this open stance as Hussain walks towards him. And Curran goes hard at that. It's in the air. Fielder running round. Won't get there. Lands between two. It was close. And he did go for the big yahoo, and it wasn't quite out of the middle of anything.
Well, he's got away with that. It's good bowling. Slower outside off stump, and Curran caught neither here nor there. He wasn't forward and able to sweep it as he'd have probably wanted to, but didn't have the time to pull out of the shot. So just flapped at it outside the off stump, and it hung in the air forever, and no fielder could get underneath it.
14 balls since a boundary as Akil Hussain walks towards us with his final delivery now. Delivered in to Overton, down the ground, and caught over the ropes, back into play, and Rovman Powell juggles on the boundary but does take the catch. Overton goes, he leans on his bat at the non-striker's end, but I think he probably knows from the reaction of the West Indies fielders that this is going to be out. And with that, possibly England's hopes in this game. He'd played a almost tentative lofted shot as opposed to really giving it the full beans. And that might have just cost him.
Cleanly taken there. Does not touch the boundary. Gets rid of the ball. Back inside the field of play. And the catch is completed. Thank you. Ready to make my decision. Thanks.
It's going to be out. And Overton goes at a run of ball 5. It's great work on the boundary. And was that necessary? I mean, England needing to go at 14 and over, you could argue if it's in your arc and you fancy it, then yeah, but I'm just not sure he committed to the stroke.
Yeah, it was like trying to time it up over wide mid-off for 6 as opposed to go through with the shot. Had he extended his arms or had a full follow through up over his shoulder, it would almost certainly have gone for 6. He wasn't near the pitch of the ball, and it was good bowling. It looked to hold in the surface just a touch, and it is a yard away from going for 6, and we praise him for the shot if it goes for 6, but his greatest strength is hitting seam bowlers out the ground, and in those last 4 overs, needing the runs that England do, would have been better served with him there, even if it is 14 and over, as now is the case.
So Jofra Archer moves up the order, as opposed to Liam Dawson, who was carded to come in next. They're looking for the big hitting of Archer, and with Chase bowled out, Moti bowled out, and now Hussain also having bowled his 4, it will be down to the West Indies seamers, but 56 from 24. It's going to take some effort from Sam Curran, who's on 25 off 18, and then Jofra Archer. It is worth pointing out these sides are neck and neck in terms of where they were at this point in the innings, but Shafane Rutherford went on to get that big score, and West Indies were only 5 down at that point. So it is a slightly different ball game, and of course the pressure of what you need to go and get. Jane emails in Cardiff. I read somewhere after the Ashes, no one needed a T20 World Cup. I couldn't disagree more. I'm in South Wales. It's been grey and raining for as long as I can remember. Now there's cricket on TMS all day. It's wonderful and it's uplifting. So there you go. Thank you, Jane. TMS at bbc.co.uk. It's a paper plane, goes drifting from one of the high tiers up above us. Fans leaning right over the edge of the stand up to my right. Start of a new over, which is dug out first ball down the ground, with England now needing 55 from 23. Archer will be on strike. Shamar Joseph into a 3rd over. It's slipping from England, this, Stephen.
It feels like it, but I'm reticent to speak too soon, because there are certainly situations where we've seen Curran. Liam Dawson is still to come, who's very capable and can hit 6s as well. He's not just a nudger nerdler, he can clear the rope. So there is still batting. It's going to take something really special for England to do it, for sure. So I'm concerned without being gravely concerned yet.
Okay.
Or I can be gravely concerned without having completely given up hope. It's probably a more realistic position to take.
Okay, so you're not... there is still one position to be in, which is no hope. Here is Shamar Joseph. Low full toss, which is dug out down the ground. Very well fielded by a tumbling Jason Holder, who even when he ends up down on his knees is about 3 feet taller than the rest of us. 143 for 7. 2 singles to start this 17th over. England need 54 from 22. They were going at around 12 for the final 7 or 8 overs, West Indies. And that's really what fired them up towards the big total that England have been trying to chase down. They were going along very nicely. It's just struggled to build partnerships, and that has been the undoing. There's been lots of starts, but no one's gone on. 30 for Salt, 33 for Bethel, Butler 21, Brooks 17. Curran's there, unbeaten on 26. And there's going to be runs there down the ground. Oh, I thought he got more of it than he did. In fact, he just gets the 1. And again, it's another single. The required rate is 15. I'm looking at you, Finney, at what point you do move into the next gear.
Give me
3 balls?
Yeah. See, at the end of this over, we're happy to reassess always. Well, it's been good from Joseph, though. Get that Yorker right in, so even if it is a full toss, it's hitting the toe of the bat.
23 needed from 21. Boundaries needed for England. Jofra Archer is trying to play. Oh, the most delicate shovel down to fine leg, and that is a fine stroke. I tell you what, batting at number 9 ain't what it used to be, Stephen. That is a brilliant shot from Archer. Steps across his stumps, and the little ramp over the fielder at short fine leg.
It's outstanding, isn't it? Joseph going for that Yorker again, drifting in towards the leg stump, and Archer just the most delicate of dabs. He's in there to boom 6s as we know he can. He's got the deft touch too.
49 needed from 20. 148 for 7 England. Joseph to Archer, who's smacking the ball down the ground towards Rothman Powell below us. England one away from the 150 mark. That was a real flamboyant stroke from Archer. Sam Curran is on 27 off 20. England need 48 off 19 balls. You're listening to Test Match Special live from the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. As we see Joseph preparing again. Round the wicket to bowl to Curran. That's a good ball. Right in the block hole. Bumped it out into the offside. One taken. So he'll have the strike, will Curran. And 3 overs remain with England needing 47 from 18 balls. Right then, go on. 3 balls have gone. Where are we?
Struggling. Just under 16 and over. It just is still doable. We saw Holder go for 24. He's just taken his cap off and is about to give it to the umpire. The hulking figure of Jason Holder is just handing that over now. So it's doable, but it's not looking brilliant for England here. Sam Curran is going to have to do a majority of this whacking. But again, T20 is just a funny game where you think it's going one way. Look at the game earlier, Afghanistan, South Africa, and then it doesn't. And the switches in momentum and the changes in who is ahead of the game can happen so quickly. So,
well, look at the Nepal game the other night.
Exactly.
So we're going to see Jason Holder, who's 1 over so far, went for 24. It was a very different game at that point with Phil Salt taking rather a liking to the former captain. Curran looks around. Where are his boundary options? It's a deep cover, quite square. It's a long off, long on, deep mid-wicket and deep backwards square. And Curran goes hard down the ground, but will only pick out that man at long on. It's Rothman Powell. One taken. Archer will be on strike.
What is certain, England need a boundary, or at least 3-4 boundaries soon. Because otherwise they are leaving it much too late. The rate, every single ball that is not going for a boundary, the rate's escalating. 16.2 needed now, but West Indies have nailed their skills so far.
Well, we wondered whether they'd have the bowlers that be able to do this at the back end of an innings. So far they have. England need 46 from 17. Archer struck on the pad. There's going to be trouble at the non-strikers end, and he's run out. Holder picks up, shies at the stumps. Archer didn't know where the ball had gone. Well, quickly enough, it was smacking into the stumps at the non-strikers' end to see England lose another wicket. And Archer goes for 6. England 151 for 8. And now it really is looking pretty bleak.
Yeah, excellent from Holder. It hits Archer on the boots, and around the wicket, Yorker fired right in at Archer's heel, and it hits him on that heel. He doesn't really know where the ball's gone. Curran's called him through, obviously, because Curran wants the strike in this situation, and by the time the ball was in Holder's hand, Archer was only halfway down the wicket, and he'd given up by the time Holder did a full-blooded throw at all 3 stumps. Lights up the zinger bails and gets the West Indies their 8th wicket. They have been outstanding. And Holder, after having a tricky start to the innings with the ball in hand, has delivered 2 perfect Yorkers here to keep the pressure on England.
There was a degree of violence to that throw, I think it's fair to say.
He meant it, didn't he?
Yeah.
It's fair to say.
So Liam Dawson to the middle, batting for England for the first time in a World Cup match, with England needing the not-so-easy task of 46 from 16 balls. There's a gentleman in a Trinidad and Tobago hat, West Indies shirt and Manchester United scarf that's been shown a lot on the big screen tonight, and he's absolutely loving life. West Indies, who we saw comprehensively beating Scotland, are about to do the British Isles double by the looks of things. Sam Curran on strike. England need 46 from 16. He goes hard at that, into the leg side, but again, it'll just be the single. Liam Dawson knows that pushing for a second is not going to be wise, as Hetmeyer quickly in from the boundary to field. 45 from 15. Those fans outside the commentary box in their shirt sleeves, Newcastle United shirt, a couple of England shirts, looking up at us thinking that something, they must look at us thinking we're really peculiar and our hoodie is wrapped up tight.
I'm certainly glad I brought mine to the ground.
The aircon is, I think it's fair to say, enthusiastic. Holder around the wicket to bowl to the right-handed Dawson. Gets a full delivery. He'll tap down the ground for one. That's good bowling again, right where it needs to go. At the toes, new batter. Not much you can do with it. And suddenly, the required rate, 19 and over.
How are first and second in the group separated? If they're level on points.
Net run rate.
Net run rate.
So at the moment, in this group, Group C, West Indies are at the top by virtue of the big win they got against Scotland. England's very narrow win against Nepal, therefore, didn't do an awful lot for their net run rate. 44 needed from 14 balls. Curran goes hard at that, down the ground for 6. Oh, that's a big hit. He meant that and he got all of it. Well, more where that came from is urgently required. 38 needed from 13.
There's dancing in the stands down there. I think that's been caught. Certainly a big old hit. It went high. Holder just misses his Yorker, and Curran stepping outside leg is able to have a free swing at that one. It would have hit the stumps had he missed it, and that was Holder's temptation when he saw Curran going, was to think of go for the glory, go for the stumps, but that's exactly where the batter wants it in that moment, and manages to get underneath it and hit up over wide, long off for 6.
Final ball of the 18th over. England need 38 from 13. Curran will get a ball he's happy to ease into the onside for 1, backing himself to do the work, with 37 required for the final 2 overs. Stranger things have happened.
They have, and it's, yeah, it feels ominous for England now, clearly. That many runs from 2 overs, but all you need is bang, bang. The game earlier, I keep harping on about the game earlier, but the super over, Afghanistan, 3 sixes in a row, then a wide, and then they only needed 4 off the very last ball to try and tie that the second super over to take it to a 3rd super over. So as long as Curran is facing, anything can happen, but Shamar Joseph has been excellent today. Nailed his Yorkers in the previous over. The West Indies have been really on it. They've made some good, smart, tactical decisions. Been 1 step ahead of England and deserve to be in the position they are right now.
Well, we'll have full reaction to this game on the Test Match Special podcast on BBC Sounds. We'll be hearing from both captains. Player of the match, who could yet be Sam Curran. England set the hefty but not insurmountable target of 197. Find themselves at 160 for 8 with 2 overs remaining. So 37 needed from 12 balls as Shamar Joseph comes into bowl to Sam Curran. Round the wicket, he's in now and strikes the pads. He's annoyed because that was there to be hit. And he's not managed to get hold of it. Looking to target mid-wicket, he misses.
It just looked like the perfect length to get under, didn't it? He didn't try and hit it all that hard. It would have just been time it up into the night sky and it would have sailed all the way for 6. And Joseph's got away with one there.
And Curran knows it as well. He takes off one glove, stretches his arm, puts it back on again, scratches like a chicken at the crease, and is ready to go. As is Joseph, who comes rushing in now, and that is outside the off stump, and having taken that step to the leg side, Curran, though he looks longingly towards the umpire, is not going to get the reward of a wide, and it's 2 dots to start the over, and England suddenly need 37 from 10.
Good bowling. Curran went early enough. His back foot is on the wide line towards the leg side, so it gives Joseph the absolute freedom to just bowl it out towards the offside wide line, and Curran was never ever going to be able to reach it. It was a good 6 inches inside that blue line. Good bowling.
Joseph to Curran. It's hit down the ground. He's not got all of it. Fielder running in, isn't going to try and take the catch. Happy instead to field on the bounce. Could be a run out. I think that probably is, actually. I think the dive from Dawson, who was a little tardy in setting off, is going to see a 9th wicket fall. And the way that he's hauling himself up and the reaction from West Indies fielders suggests that that is out. And indeed, up goes the finger. England are 9 down, albeit Sam Curran will be on strike. Dawson was just a little slow setting off. And a low full toss from Curran as it dropped towards Holder. That decision not to try and take the catch, a good one, even though he fumbled it. Throw came in. Bails off. And Liam Dawson goes.
They've been sharp tonight, the West Indies, haven't they? The bit of a fumble there from Holder, a blot on his report card, but the recovery and then the throw right over the top of the stumps meant that Dawson, even though he put in a gallant dive and then lay there in the mud for about 10 seconds before getting up and dragging himself off, the West Indies have been far too good for England this evening. I thought at the halfway stage, actually, that they'd got more than England wanted them to. I think England would have been happy with 180 in the position that they were. But the West Indies lower order hitting, in particular Jason Holder, was outstanding to get them to that target of 196. But you just felt it's one partnership, and the way that Salt came flying out the blocks, you felt as though England were in a great position, but the spinners in particular have put the screw, or turned the screw on England, and had no answer in those middle overs.
Well, England need 36 from 9. Curran is on strike on 38 off 28. England desperately need boundaries. There might be one there. It's clattered away over the offside. That's a fabulous shot for we're on bounce 4. He's a dangerous player, is Sam Curran. England do bat deep. They've just not had enough players that have managed to build partnerships. It's 165 for 9, 32 needed from 8.
It's just such an easy swing of the bat, isn't it? He's not a big man at all, Sam Curran, but the power that he can generate up and over extra cover as well. He's developed his batting to be a really valuable player in that middle order.
32 needed from 8. Joseph to Curran, digs it out into the offside. It goes out towards Hetmeyer, 1 taken. Rashid will be on strike, with England needing 31 off 7. When you get an email that is all in capital letters,
what are they angry about?
Yeah, it tends to be that way, especially when the subject line is also all capitals and there is no punctuation whatsoever. Gary emails. Subject, abysmal. Utterly abysmal chase. And I'm assuming he's just not talking about Roston.
Roston was a great addition for the West Indies.
Played well. Come on, Gary, it seems a bit harsh. I'm not sure it has quite been that. We'll give the full debrief at the end of the game with Finney and Prakash, but I think there's, I think it's fair to say, needing 26.5 and over, England aren't going to win this game. 9 down as Adil Rashid waits and will whip the ball into the leg side. Could be a chance of a catch, and there is the game for West Indies. A really good low catch in the deep. Roston Chase tumbling forward. England all out for 166, and West Indies flags are flying around the Wankhede Stadium here in Mumbai, because they've beaten England by 30 runs, and it's been pretty comprehensive in the end. England would have felt confident at the halfway stage, if not short, but West Indies have absolutely nailed it.
Fair delivery.
They're checking it.
If you could have your best angle for the catch, thanks. Get it in from here, thanks.
But I think that was a clean catch.
Are we able to zoom that up, or have you got another angle, like a side-on angle at all for me?
Sometimes you get this at the end of a game where the momentum just goes from the celebration and the umpire's taking the bails off. I think that's a fair catch, don't you?
It looked it, didn't it? And the way he celebrated.
Any other angles for me? It's like the fingers are around the ball.
The way he celebrated certainly suggested that it was a clean catch.
Okay. Nice and slow for me, thanks.
The slower you look at it, the worse it looks.
Always, isn't it?
Yeah.
The more angles you see, the more you think, oh, maybe not, maybe not. But I think he's taking that.
They're all shaking hands whilst this chase going on.
Roll that through for me, thanks. Roll it through.
The broadcasters are on the pitch.
Ground staff coming out, broadcasters coming out.
I made my decision. Thanks for the big screen.
I've made my decision, and that decision is surely out. Has to be. It is. End of the game. West Indies win by 30 runs, and so England lose their second match. West Indies make it 2 from 2. And, well, it was a pretty hefty defeat in the end, Stephen Finn.
It was, yeah. 30 runs is a massive margin. in a T20 game, you felt with the depth that England have in their batting that they'd always have a chance in the chase, but they were done by the spinners through those middle overs. They were excellent. Hussain up top started well. He got 1 for 32 from his 4, Chase 2 for 29 from 4, and Moti 3 for 33. He got the 3 Bs in the middle order, and the most important one of those 3, the captain, Harry Brook, just as he was looking to build a partnership. Excellent piece of slow bowling that just gripped in the surface. A good caught and bowled, and it felt as though that's where the game was turning, but just with that depth, you felt as though it was one big over. Some pressure on the bowlers that have been under fire from the West Indies that could maybe see it slip away from them, but they stayed resolute. They nailed their skills towards the end. Shamar Joseph in particular, I thought, was excellent with the ball to bowl those tricky overs up front and at the death. And the West Indies truly deserved their win. It's not terminal, it's not ominous for England, is it, in terms of their position in the group, but it's certainly, you don't want to lose games when you're going through a World Cup, but England will have to learn from it.
Well, they lost to West Indies on this ground in 2016 and very nearly did go on to lift the trophy, albeit there was a significant intervention from a man who was with Test Match Special this evening, Carlos Brathwaite. And so England have lost this game, and they've lost it by 30 runs. Set a target of 197. They were unable to chase it down, though they got a quick start to their run chase. It was ultimately a chase that fell short, and fell short by some distance as well, as West Indies celebrate and get a victory that sees them 2 from 2. And England, after a narrow victory over Nepal, have been beaten by the 2-time champions West Indies. Here on Test Match Special, Stephen Finn still alongside me, and also Prakash Wakanka joins us as well, and we'll get reaction from the 2 camps shortly. But Prakash, what have you made of what we've seen in this game? It's felt a pretty chastening one for England, perhaps.
Perhaps, indeed. 6 for 94 of 12 overs of spin. I think that tells the story. When you're chasing something in excess of 180, obviously you want to be able to get there. And I think the way that Phil Salt started, we thought, at least I thought, that this might actually finish sooner than later. But they stuck to the task, the Windies. They kept picking wickets. And the 3 Bs, as Stephen Finn just mentioned, Banton, Brook and Bethel. The three Bs were the big wickets that Moti, diminutive Gadukesh Moti, picked up, and then of course backed up so well by Roston Chase and indeed Hussain. Not to take anything away from Shepherd and Joseph, even though Holder was expensive, but he came back well in his second over. Really, England, if I really think back, in my view, Henry, it was a bit of an up and down thing on both halves of the game for England. There were periods where they did exceedingly well and then sort of dropped
England
off.
captain Owen Morgan is standing by to hand over the Player of the Match award. One left-hander who liked hitting sixes to give it to another left-hander who likes hitting sixes.
Shafane Rutherford chatting to Michael Athert.
Many congratulations, great win for your team tonight. First of all, how's the injury?
First of all, I want to thank God for this opportunity, playing in the biggest stage. But my finger is good. Hopefully, we'll be better for the next game.
Well, let's talk about your innings, first of all. What were the challenges that England's attack posed for you tonight?
I think one of the biggest challenges was Adil Rashid. In our meeting, we know that he's going to be the toughest bowler for us. So what was important for me is just to try and keep him out of the game, try and score, and just keep rotating the strike and build a partnership and, just back ourselves to make up in the end.
Surface seemed a good one, slightly quicker than it was up in Kolkata against Scotland, but you looked in good touch there. Were you confident coming into this game?
Yeah, definitely. For me, I've been putting in a lot of work coming into the World Cup. For me, once I trust my process and read the situation, I think, once I'm in, I can always score in the end. So it just was important for me, to just have a clear mind and just play with more intent.
And were you confident that the score that you posted, 196, would be enough?
For me, I think we were like 10 runs behind. With England batting, we know they're very powerful. But I think the guys stood up well tonight and bowled well. So, you know, well done to them. And, you know, this will mean a lot for us.
And the Guyanese are powering West Indies in this competition. Shimron Hetmeyer getting player of the match in the first game. And, of course, Romario Shepherd as well.
Yeah, you know, it's good for our country. You know, our country has been, you know, coming into the spotlight. But, you know, cricket is a team sport, and, you know, moving forward, you know, hopefully the other guys can put their hands up, and, you know, as a collective unit, we can continue to get better.
2 wins out of 2 now. You must be filled with confidence going into the rest of the games.
Yeah, definitely. You know, in this big stage, you want to make sure that you have that momentum, and, you know, it was very important for us to keep this momentum, and, you know, moving forward, it's just about getting better, try and add 10% to our game, and hopefully we can keep going better.
Many congratulations, well played.
Thank you.
That's the thoughts there of Shafane Rutherford chatting to Michael Atherton on the boundary edge. He scored 76 not out from 42 balls. Was dropped by Adil Rashid, who was otherwise outstanding, but in the end, it was his contribution that proved so significant. Prakash and Stephen still with me. We'll be hearing from the